My brother, Tory Carlon, firefighter at Los Angeles County Fire Department, was a soft, gentle soul, very nice gentleman, best dad that could ever be in the world. He was a girl dad, you know, so just everybody that he worked with loved him. Just a tremendous man.
He was in his 20s when I met him, and the same thing, he had such a desire to be a fireman. And after that, he loved kids, he loved family. When he had his own girls, that's where all his focus went to. And he did everything every day with them. So every minute he wasn't a fireman, he was a dad.
Our daughters adored him when they were little. And his wife tells the story that she knew he was going to be a good dad by how he treated our daughters and his nieces. So that was her picture into his future as a dad.
I got phone calls and text messages from high school friends of his that I never knew after he was gone. And he told us that our brother saved his life in high school, and he was contemplating suicide. And my brother actually talked him out of it and saved his life when he was 15, 16 years old. And so there was just something in him that got him into that mode to help people. You know, I don't know what it is. I know it's a calling, they say, to be in that kind of profession, in fire or police. And it was just something about it that he liked helping people. It's amazing. I mean, the stories we've heard. We went to a NASCAR race in Phoenix a couple of different times with him and the family, and with his wife and his girls. And my brother was the type that he double-checked and triple-checked everything. And we're getting ready to leave the motorhomes and go up to the racetrack, and he's walking around the motorhome 4 times, checking all the cabinets, make sure everything's put away and everything's locked up. And it was just so classic Tory, because he was just adamant that make sure everything was secured and put away and where it needed to be.
Ours was sitting right next door. Chairs out, doors open, unlocked, you walk in, and his is dead bolted, chained, and double, triple, checking to make sure nobody could steal something. But all of our stuff was sitting outside, and we're like, what are you doing? That was Tory, yeah. He was just a sweet, kind soul. Everybody loved him.
He loved his peanut M&Ms, donuts. He had a sweet tooth, that you couldn't, just had to have it. We heard stories at the fire station with all of his from coworkers, where they'd have the box of donuts at the fire station, and he'd get down to the last donut in the box, and he'd break it in half. He'd leave half in the box and eat the other half, and leave it sitting there for someone else to have.
But the thing is, he didn't look like he ate donuts and sugar.
Yeah.
He was in shape, and if I ate the way he did, you'd need the wide angle. But
yeah.
But he was funny, and what I've always found funny is if you had to make a big decision, it would take weeks, months to get the answer, and then they're waiting for answers. They go, well, have you made up your mind? He goes, well, I'm evaluating, and I'm thinking this way, and they'll live the entire scenario in that way. Nah, I don't like that. Then they'll do it the other way for a simple thing like, what are we gonna go have for dinner? So it's very fun.
He's the only person I know that read the fine print when you signed to buy a house.
Yes.
Every word he read before he signed that document. So he was meticulous, and he had his ways.
Yeah.
But he was not just a girl's dad, he was a mama's boy. He loved his mama, and he was the baby. And so they had a special, special connection.
Yes.
And when they emptied his locker, they found things that my mom had given him that he had in his locker, and it really touched us all that he kept things that we never knew he even had.
It was from 20 years earlier. She had given him the sheets for his bed when he first signed on with the department, and a card that she had given him. And he had them in his locker when they cleaned it out. He did everything with his girls.
Yeah.
Just everything. Camping, boating, horses, softball, soccer, anything that had to do with those girls. He just took care of it all for them. Really, he lived for those girls. You know, they were married for 19 years, I think it was, 19, 20 years. You know, it's been, yeah, they were good together. I mean, it was, you know, it's just a horrible situation that we were all put in. I'm never gonna forget what a kind soul he was. What a sweet, sweet person to be taken the way he was from us. I'll just never forget how kind he was. It's just a great man.
I will never forget his beautiful smile, his blue eyes, him just being so like, I don't know, he is a kind, gentle human being. You just don't run across those people in this world. And but his smile would light up a room, and everybody that walked past him just was like in awe. And he was just a great, great person.
My girls will always remember the camping trip they took with him when they were, I want to say 6 or 7, 8 years old. We went camping, and they all have on their phones the picture they took with him. And they're now 30. But that camping trip made such an impact that they got to spend with their uncle that weekend. And his love for everybody, he was fantastic.
And I'll never forget the fact that I had adopted twins before we met. I was a foster parent. And the twins at that camping trip both decided that they were going to marry him. And they had secret debates about who was going to get to marry Uncle Tory. And I think Alicia was leading the way because Olivia got distracted by someone else she thought was cute. But he would just kind of lead them on a little bit. Oh, really? So you want to marry me when you get a little older, huh? And oh yes, and it was fun to see that wonderful interaction. So, and he wouldn't talk down to kids. He was a kid. He had kids level, and so whoever he was talking to, that's the level he would take. And I always thought that was extremely admirable, that he would never look at somebody as opposed to like a important person or a non-important person. Everyone was the same, and so treated everyone with exactly who they were.
That camping trip was the first time that we had met his future wife, and our girls actually said they approved of her. They would let him marry her, and he didn't have to wait for them.
You know, everybody that he worked with loved him. When he was contemplating moving stations at different times in his career, they would all call him up, hey, you got to come to our station, you got to come here, you got to come here, we want you here. And they would fight with each other to get him to try and come to his station because they all loved being around him because he was such a kind, gentle soul that just, you know, he embodied the fire department and was just the best fireman that he could ever be.
Here's to you, with that smile on your face. Here's to you, and what I want to raise to this moment we share.